Previously on No Reserves Radio.
Oh my God, Angelo! Come on, have some self-respect. The Eagles can't hurt you if you don't constantly pander to them.
Here's the biggest indictment of Dame that I can say. Dame has been so off this year that Ren went on live air and said Jalen Brunson deserved an all-star start over him.
You are now Angelo Didululo.
Do you think it is possible that the management of the Memphis Grizzlies are just buying into the reckless youth movement and they got rid of the one person in the locker room that probably was telling Ja to knock it off?
Because he's taken advantage of me multiple times when I was younger. That sounded bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're correct in that assessment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of No Reserves Radio. Here with me, as always, is Alex. Wait, why is there a U in Alex's name?
Things happened.
What? You're not Alex. Who the fuck are you?
Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, this is Austin. He apparently made 2 shows in a row, which might be a personal best for him.
Yep.
It's gonna take it.
I will get back the "with me as
yeah.
always" tag. I will get it back.
With you as always. No, you're not.
Yes, I will.
You're never getting that tag back. I'll make sure of it. There will be so much shade. I will make sure every episode you're not a part of that you will get the most shade, maximum shade. But Alex isn't with us for personal reasons. Like Ren said last week, get over it. Me and Austin today, we do have a fun show lined up. Austin has made one cameo on the football episode, so just tell us about yourself, Austin. Do an intro, bitch.
What do you mean do an intro?
Bitch.
Bitch what? I like the Cowboys. I
There
don't
you
know
go.
what you want me to say here.
There you go. You like the Cowboys. So that's all. That's all everyone needs to know. That's all everyone needs to know. You like the Cowboys.
That's fair.
You like. So, since you haven't been part of basically any episode, what are your thoughts on the off season so far? Just overall, there's been some. It seemed like there was a bunch of crazy shit that happened in 1 week, and then
Yeah, I was
just
gonna say it's been relatively quiet.
Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. So that is actually a question I have before we get into any other segments is how do you feel about the fact that it seemed like every other NFC East team made major changes? You know, the Commanders drafted Jaden Daniels on top of making a bunch of different moves. The Eagles added Saquon Barkley. The Giants added Malik Nabers and seem to be trying to do something different, even though I think that's doomed to fail from the start. But what is your feeling as a Cowboys fan to see all those teams making moves and making improvements on both offense and defense, and you guys just we're going to trade back and we're going to trade back again, and then we're going to make some picks? What's your thoughts?
It feels like every other offseason.
It can't.
It's so disappointing. Every single year, every Cowboys fan plays the, all right, we just made a playoff run. Is Jerry going to double down and get us people? And then free agency hits, and we sign a long snapper. And that's all that we do.
To be fair, this offseason is, well, not this one, but the next one coming up is probably one of the biggest off seasons in your guys' recent history. Because if I'm not mistaken, Parsons, Lamb, and Dak all need to be re-signed.
I believe that is correct.
I don't see a world where you guys give out the blank check 3 times. So, out of those 3, who do you want to stay and go, and who do you actually envision stays and goes at the end of the day? When we're here next year, who do you think's on the Cowboys?
Who do I want? Parsons and Lamb.
Parsons and Lamb. Okay.
I want Prescott gone. And we'll talk about Prescott later. But
Yep.
I want Parsons and Lamb. realistically, I see them blank checking Parsons,
Hmm.
letting
As one
Lamb
does.
walk, and re-signing Dak.
I can see that. I can see that.
Unfortunately, I think that's what's going to happen.
Did you feel good or bad about Tony Pollard leaving for Tennessee? Because quite honestly, and maybe this is hopium because I've been saying this offseason, and then this might 100% be hopium.
Hmm.
But I think Pollard came into the season kind of banged up, and he just never looked the same. And people have just like blanketed it as, oh, well, just because you get the starting job doesn't mean you're going to be good. Like, I don't think we saw 100% Pollard at any point during the season last year, and maybe that's cope, maybe that's 100% copium. But I have a feeling that Pollard could do some things in Tennessee. What were your thoughts on just letting Pollard scurry off to Tennessee?
I could see your idea that that might be copium. Um, I think Pollard is a starting running back, but I think he does need a change of pace next to him. Right? He was absolutely his best when Zeke was out there, and then Pollard would come in and do like the 15-yard runs every once in a while. Right?
Yeah.
I think teams are able to game plan for Pollard because they know Pollard is the first back out. So they're expecting the speed, right? Zeke was power, 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 and he threw Pollard in, and he just would get around the edge. So I think him in Tennessee is, oh my God, what is the running back's name? I think I traded you him
Isaiah
from
Spears.
Tennessee. Tajay Spears. I think he's going to do really well with Tajay Spears. And the Titans are a more run heavy offense than the Cowboys, sadly.
So here's another. Once again, you have not been on any episode to know this. So me and Alex did a segment where because we kind of talked about how the Bears might be a little bit overhyped because if you look at the values of the Bears players, the fact that they're going to be a top 5 offense is already baked in. And I'm not sure the fact that the Bears are going to be a top 5 offense is a guaranteed thing.
I mean, you know how I
So,
feel about Caleb Williams.
yeah, I know. So on the opposite end of that spectrum, we were asked, okay, what teams could be sneaky either this coming year or in the future? Um, Alex's team was the New England Patriots because Drake May, obviously. And I don't think that's a bad idea either. We'll get into that later. But my team was the Titans. I think, and this could be homerism because Callahan is a former Bengals offensive coordinator. But I think with how much they invested in the offense, they're telling you this isn't the same Tennessee Titans of the last 10 years, 20 years. This team, they plan on moving the football. And I really do like that.
So I think they plan on moving the football, but is Tannehill still under center?
No, it is going to be Will Levis starting quarterback.
Whoa. Where'd Tannehill go? Did I just miss this?
I think Tannehill's in the retirement home.
Really?
I could be wrong, but let me see.
Did he retire? I didn't even like realize this.
Ryan Tannehill. Oh no, he's currently a free agent. He has not retired yet.
Okay. Um
He's soon
then
for the retirement home.
yes, soon for the retirement home. He'll probably be one of those like week 7, week 8.
Yeah, he's probably going to be that. He's probably going to be Joe Flacco for the Browns. He's going to be that guy that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, for the teams
So,
that want to make a deep playoff run and need a little bit of depth.
or for the team that has a good roster, but their quarterback went down to injury. That
Yeah.
happens every year. But go on, sorry. What were you going to say?
I think that your prediction relies solely on Levis.
100%, and I have faith in
Because
him.
they have the playmakers. They have Hopkins. They have Calvin Ridley, I think, signed there, right?
Yep.
Yep. They got Pollard who can run.
With Spears, they still got Treylon Burks, who has yet to do anything. But
I'm hoping.
like I said, I'm optimistic. And
Yeah.
the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken, they used their first their first round pick on an offensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken. So
That sounds right.
yeah, I think they got Joe Alt, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. Oh no, that's the Chargers.
No.
What's the Titans get?
What did the Titans get? H. Let's sort it by H. J.C. Latham. Was that who it was?
Yes, offensive tackle from Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes. So regardless, yes, they invest in the offensive line. So I do think what the Tennessee Titans are telling you is we are prioritizing the offense. It's not going to be boring, grind it out. We're going to be in 10-7 games. We're going to be in 14-10 games, and hopefully we're going to win at the end. No, they're going for the jugular, and I love that.
Yeah. How old is Levis? Levis is 24.
20,
it's not that
yeah,
bad.
24. He came out of college pretty old, honestly. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, he was 23 and
I
a
feel
half.
I feel like a lot of the quarterbacks in the last couple of years have come out pretty late.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
there's one or two that are like young, and most of them are like 22, 23.
yeah, Stroud came out really young. He came out at 21. But
Yeah.
regardless, I do think with the NIL money, you're going to see a lot older prospects moving forward,
I
especially if they're
can't wait
really
to see
good
that.
because they have less of an incentive to. Obviously, if you're a top 10 pick in the NFL, you have incentive to enter the draft. But if
Yeah,
you're
but
a really
outside
good
of that, if you're a fringe person, I'd rather stay in college for a year,
get
make
the
another
NIL
10
money, maybe
million.
get a degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
It
just
all just depends on the person. You know, some people college is just not for them, and they want it, and that's fine.
yeah,
You should have
college is
that
a
freedom.
stepping stone.
Yeah. So the segment I've been waiting for all week. Let's go, Austin. I know
What?
nothing about fantasy or dynasty football.
We
Tell me
know that.
about your experiences and teach me. What do I need to know? Convince someone to get into fantasy football or dynasty football for the first time. Go ahead, Austin.
So first, you need to know the difference between fantasy and dynasty.
What's
Right?
that? What's
I
dynasty? What's
always
that?
played fantasy when I was younger,
I
and
got my
that
hand up.
is.
What's that?
I'm telling you,
Okay, okay,
don't
okay.
interrupt, teacher.
Okay, Mr. Austin. Okay.
Fantasy is great because you can do redrafts every year, right? So you really just kind of appeal to a year-to-year basis. You're not committed to anything, and it keeps it a lot more interesting, right? It stops those super teams like Alex's from developing
What's a
in
super team?
Dynasty. A super team in Dynasty is when you have all of the greatest players, so the
Huh?
Christian McCaffreys, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, all on one team. Right? That's pretty hard to beat unless there's an injury. So the difference between redraft and dynasty is redraft is going to be every year. Dynasty is you draft a team, and then the next year you just pick the rookies. Right? And it's like you're running your own little organization.
Wait, so I have to like figure out the rookies in every class?
Or you do what I do and just listen to Alex talk and then go out based off of that.
Wow. You fucking simp.
But Dynasty is a lot more fun to me because you have those commitments and you have to think strategically.
What's strategically?
Okay, you're not that stupid.
How do you think strategically? What do you mean by that?
So you have to decide whether you want to go all in, if you want to stay middle of the pack, or if you want to blow it all up and tank. Right?
What's go ahead.
Or a different version of you, since you don't know anything.
I know
The other
nothing.
version of you is the king of tanking. I don't think they've ever had a winning season in our main league. So what you do is you sell all your players.
So question, why would somebody do that, Austin?
They do
Mr.
that
Austin?
with all of the draft capital in the world because in Dynasty you don't have to deal with contracts the way that most people play. There are some leagues that do contracts.
Yeah.
So you can just sit there and monopolize 4 or 5 drafts in a row, get all the best people, and then you've rebuilt your team. Or
what if I suck at drafting?
What do you mean you suck at drafting? Like you just
What
pick
if
wrong every time?
Sure. Yeah.
Then I would take your valuable picks and flip them for sure starters. So take your 101 and try to get Justin Jefferson. you know he's going to be valid for a while. If you're worried about drafting.
What's more valuable, a wide receiver or running back? Mr. Austin.
For points up front, running back. For longevity, receiver. Running backs usually have a shorter shelf life, but most of the times will get you more points than a receiver, depending on your format. Are you having fun, Mr. I don't know anything?
Don't know anything. How many leagues are you in, Mr. Austin?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. And they're all dynasty. Oh, I lied. There's 1 redraft and 4 dynasty.
Mm-hmm. And why do you do it?
Because I hate myself and I have higher expectations than what I'll ever actually achieve.
That sounds about right.
Why do you do it? Why does your alternate version do it?
I couldn't tell you anymore. I mean, it's just like it's like a grind. So like,
Yeah.
you know how like in a video game there's seasons, and when the new season starts, everyone's on and everyone's active, and then like as it gets closer and closer to the end of the season, it starts to get lower and lower participation. But then a new season starts and then you just go right back up. That's
Yep.
kind of the ebb and flows of a dynasty league. And those ups are usually like playoff time, the playoffs in general, and the draft season time
Yeah.
are the two biggest ones.
I'd say
And just bef-
the first like 2 to 3 weeks are big, and then when the people start losing, they kind of start checking out.
So here's a question I have for you. So we did a trophy in the Dynasty Nas League. By the way, did you like the look at the trophy?
Oh, it was amazing.
So after the winner posted that trophy, I immediately got 2 messages asking to buy players. Do you, do you think having a reward at the end, whether you're a free league, and granted, if you're a paid league, you have a money incentive to win.
Yeah.
But do you think having a reward at the end of the season kind of helps with activity and helps makes teams want to buy more and worry less about draft capital?
I think it does. I think there'll be 2 opposite spectrums, right? The first one is going to be the players that message you that want the instant gratification. They need the trophy right now. All right.
It's a nice trophy. It's
In
gold.
my
Gold.
in my instance, because I blew my team up last year, it makes me want to strategically make all these moves and kind of build a team from scratch almost by myself and earn the trophy the hard way. But I think in either way, it is increasing participation because at the end of the day, we all like to see fruits of our labor, right? And that trophy right now is the fruit of all labor.
Mr. Austin, how do you know when it's time to blow it up, and how do you know when it's time to go all in?
Go all in if you're having a really good season, and it might even be a fluke year for you, right? If you have a Cinderella season like I did one year, I should have just went all in and put all my chips on red. I say blow it up if either you continually get to the playoffs and get kicked out of the first week, or if you're just on the cusp. You're not good enough for playoffs, but you're not good enough to get a high pick. And that's kind of where I was, which is why I blew it up.
Mr. Austin, I have to tinkle.
Okay. You have fun with that.
Can I have a hall pass?
No.
Wow.
Piss in your pants.
Unbelievable. What a mean guy. Mean guy.
You
So,
can buy one for first.
wow. That's a good one. That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good one. But yes, so would you suggest to someone who hasn't done it what let's say they're on the fence and they're not sure. They're not sure what to do. What would you tell that person?
I would say find yourself because on Reddit there is a lot of dynasty and fantasy draft like league links, right? I would just start testing the waters, do a free league here and there. I would start with redrafts. You get a handle for how things work and kind of player value. And then I would look at trying to jump into a dynasty league. The only problem that you might encounter is if it's a free league, people, once they start losing, they stop caring about their lineups. I think we've been pretty lucky that the group of people that we have in our leagues are pretty consistent, regardless if they win or lose. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
For the most part. There's one or two that just kind of give up. But you'll have the leagues that they'll give up. Try to make friends within those leagues that you've joined, and maybe you can make enough friends to have your own league that you know people won't drop out of.
That's fair.
Or just do a money league, because you know everyone's going to care about money.
Also fair. I don't know, I've been hesitant to do a money league. I feel like there's no. I feel like there's less fun in money leagues. There's more shit talking. Yeah, I get. I do that. Like I've shit talked in every money league I've been in, but like there's less like joking around and camaraderie. You know what I mean?
So I did a $100 money league 2 years
That's
ago. I think it was.
I actually won a league where I won 350. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I did. What was I? I did a paid money league, and I ended up getting 5th, and that was the year I'm pretty sure. What happened? I had some really bad injury. I think I had like Josh Allen, or I had Nick Chubb, I think, and he got injured one year. I don't remember what it was.
Nick Chubb definitely got injured one year. Anyway,
yeah, but it's really deflating when you're like I was 7-0 and I finished 8-6. Like things just fell apart, and it sucks to lose the money. But I wouldn't do the money league like that again. I'll do like a $5 one. The $100 one just wasn't worth it to me.
Too stressful?
Yeah, too stressful. I just didn't, it sucks to see $100 leave, and you could have won, but things outside of your control made you lose.
That is fantasy football. That is why it is heartbreaking and amazing at the same time. So do I want to talk about the Cowboys now?
It's up to you.
I have a question for you.
What's up? You seem to have all the
So,
questions.
then we'll move on to the Cowboys after this. So, Alex, how do I explain this? Alex has a theory that he would rather draft someone who's higher ADP, but he isn't sure about, than someone he likes who's at a lower ADP. How do you and I told him I would rather fall with the guys I like than win with guys I don't like. Where do you fall on that? What do you do with ADP, and how extreme would you get to get the guy that you want?
So, I think I lean a little more towards your philosophy, right? When I draft them, it's because I like them, or like they're a sure target. You know what I mean? At least that's the hope. When I see ADP, I use that as a general guide of this is roughly where the player should be, and then I use the team. I look at their situation, and if I like their situation more than what I think their ADP values them at, I will reach for them. Right?
So, here's the thing.
The opposite, if I don't like where they're at, even though they should go higher, I'm not going to take that.
So, ADP is average draft position.
Yes.
So, depending on who you're using, that could be the average draft position of this player for everyone. It could be the average draft position among experts. And I think Alex's opinion that like, oh well, all these people like him, who am I to disagree with the experts? It doesn't necessarily mean you're disagreeing with the experts. I think we have this problem where if a lot of people think this, that must mean this thing is true. I don't know what policy that's called. It's probably like a group, but regardless, you drafted 3 wide receivers in the first round. You drafted Marvin Harrison, you drafted Xavier Worthy, and you drafted Ricky Parcell, I think is his name.
Ricky Purcell, yeah.
So here's the thing about fantasy football that you just said, dynasty football that you just said. You have absolutely no fucking control whether or not any of those players succeed or fail.
Correct.
So if you put a gun to my head and you said, which of those 3 wide receivers is the best wide receiver Austin drafted? I'd say Marvin Harrison Jr. But here's the thing. You don't know that. If we were here next year and your best wide receiver is Xavier Worthy, that's possible. That happens.
It's very possible.
So I think I would rather trust my own judgment and then let the things fall where they were than say a bunch of people agree with this statement.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Now there's extreme
That's
ends
why
to
I
this.
drafted those 3 though. Well, I mean, Harrison, like he is the best receiver based on everything in the beginning.
So here's the thing. There's a game to that, though, that we don't talk about. So let's say you're someone who thinks Xavier Worthy, we're sticking with the 3 wide receivers. You think Xavier Worthy is the best wide receiver in this class. Do you trade up to 101 to draft Xavier Worthy?
I don't, because I anticipate the herd mentality.
Exactly. You need to have your assessment and then get to where you need to get to. And this is where the gameship comes in. You have to know who, generally speaking. This is why Alex every offseason, and you think it's annoying as fuck, and so do I. Who you going here? Who you going here? Who you going here, Angelo? Who you going here, Austin? I need to know. I need to know because I have 5 of the first 8 picks. I need to know.
Yeah.
So you need to find value. It doesn't mean go out into the 101 and draft Xavier Worthy. Now, if all I had was the 101 and I had no way of trading down
on Worthy,
I would do it. But don't put yourself in a situation where you have to do it.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a situation where I got him at a good spot and then I got more assets. And if you're wrong and you didn't like Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's the best thing, he's Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase drafted in 1, then your take was wrong. But that's fine. You made that assessment and you made those decisions to get into that position. And I'm cool with that.
I'll lie in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my thing. That's why the whole. So I don't know if you noticed, but I wasn't in the top like 2 or 3 in basically any rookie draft I was in this year.
Oh yeah, no, I know you did not like this class when it came to like.
So I didn't even try.
You didn't like the value of the 101.
And here's why. I would have drafted Malik Nabers over Marvin Harrison Jr. in every draft if I was in the position. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And Alex knew that. So I knew if I tried to get into a position that the person behind me would be looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. if both of them were available.
Mm-hmm.
And Malik Nabers is in this weird spot where who's the next guy after Marvin Harrison Jr.? Malik Nabers. So I would have to get into a position after Marvin Harrison Jr., but before everyone else. And that's just the toughest spot to get into, quite honestly. So, yeah, that's why I would have had Malik Nabers everywhere if I could. But
I feel like every year the 101 is set.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I feel like, after 101 it gets interesting, or it can. But
here's the thing. Is it set? I just said I would have drafted Malik Nabers 101. Malik Nabers is not the consensus 101.
He's not the consensus 101. And that's where the herd mentality comes in, is like, I feel like everyone at some point partakes in it, and also, I can't think of terminology, but also goes against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're drafting quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
We'll just assume that Caleb Williams is your best quarterback, right?
Yep.
That's not the case for me. I wouldn't have taken Caleb Williams as the first quarterback off the board. So like everyone has that time where they go with everyone else and when they go against. And
With the
it's
gain
just
and against the grain.
yeah, there you go. That's a better phrasing. And I
Yes, it
think
is.
it just I mean, like we said, we've kind of beat it to a pulp, but you have to be willing to go with your gut and live with your choices.
Yeah.
And
And I
there's been a
also
few times that I've gone with my gut and I've hated it, but
yeah,
it is
same.
what it is.
Same. It's got me Patrick Mahomes, but it's also got me Terrace Marshall Jr. So
Yeah.
um I say this a lot, but I think especially in the dynasty sphere, as far as content creation goes, there's been a general, like, I call it the pussification of fantasy takes because everyone's afraid to have a wrong opinion. Because,
Hmm.
oh no, you thought this guy was going to be good. Like, no one got 100% of it right. There's no way. There's no one.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it wrong. The herd gets it wrong. The minority will get it wrong. Like, there's not 100% success rate for this shit. So you research what you want to research, you look at what you want to look at, and then you make your decisions there. I'd rather have someone thinking for themselves than someone being like, well, the chalk is Marvin Harrison, the Malik Nabbers. Then no, have opinion. If
Yeah.
you watch and you come to that you agree with the chalk all the way, that's great. But if you're just like, okay, I want to go boom, 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 boom because everyone says boom, boom, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And I
What
will
are you doing?
say, I definitely in like not recent years, but definitely when I was younger and I was more learning it, I used the chalk a lot to make my decisions. And it works sometimes.
Mhm.
And the last time I
It does.
used chalk to make my decision was Traylon Burks,
Yep.
right? And
Chalk pit.
that didn't work. So I said, okay, screw it. I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers this or last draft, and it worked out amazingly.
Mhm.
Right? I don't remember who I could have went instead of Zay Flowers, but I don't think that guy did nearly as good. But the chalk told me to take him.
I can actually go to that draft. Draft results. 2023 season. You drafted Say Flowers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the next wide receiver was Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
Oh, that Quentin Johnston. That was the receiver.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Oh boy. No, I don't want to talk about that. That draft. No, no, no.
I think I would.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, I was okay with that draft except for Stenson Bennett. This dude, I don't know. Hopefully he
All
plays
right.
for.
So anyway, let's get to the actual main topic of our discussion. Now that we've gone on plenty of side quests, I'm really good for side quests.
You are.
Anyway, so the main topic of discussion today. This might be the title, or it's going to be Austin teaches you about Austin teaches you about fantasy football. Probably is a better title. I'm not going to lie.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyway, Dak Prescott's, and you kind of gave away your opinion a little bit in the start, but Dak Prescott's tenure as the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, do you think it's successful, disappointment, or is it somewhere in the middle? What you got? What's your take, Cowboys fan?
So, do you want the Cowboys fan or do you want the objective fan?
I don't give a fuck about objective. Give me your opinion.
Okay. Cowboys fan, there's no ring, right? No ring means in some. I'm going to not say that because you're going to use that against me in the basketball podcast.
This guy. What? Well, you're about to agree with me that the end result is the title, and it doesn't matter
You know what?
what
It's
you
fine.
do
Basketball
before
is
that.
objective. Basketball is
Uh-huh.
objective. This is
Uh-huh.
fan.
Uh-huh.
No ring. We've had plenty of opportunities in the playoffs. We've had plenty of team talent in the playoffs to make it. If we're not getting there, and part of them was straight up just Dak playing stupid, right? The 49ers game will forever be ingrained in my head of that last 2 minutes where they were moving the ball down and then they just dropped it. They just went stupid.
Wait, did that game end with the Cowboys on offense and the clock running to 0?
Yes. They threw it in the middle of the field and they didn't get down in time to spike it, so then they lost.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yes.
And then
That and
you got demolished by the Packers last season.
so
That was euphoric. As someone who said all season long the Packers were an underrated team, and then just watching them smoke you guys, like it wasn't even a contest. It was just from start just made a smoke job.
it wasn't a contest. It was pathetic.
It was.
That's why I want a new leader. I need a new leader in that room. So I think Dak should go. I think he's still he's still a starting caliber talent, right? I think he should go to another team and play,
But what
right?
is okay? So you're saying his tenure is disappointing? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Devil's advocate. The Cleveland Browns haven't made the playoffs one time in like 3 decades. So maybe twice. I might be exaggerating, but it is
Yeah.
something like
It's
that.
it's true.
So is it revisionist history that you guys remember the 90s and you guys expect titles when being in the playoffs and being an above 500 team, especially in the NFL, is hard as fuck to do consistently, and you guys have consistently been 500 or above with Dak Prescott
So
fairly consistently.
it goes back to the dynasty talk that we had, right? One of the reasons, in my opinion, to blow it up is when you're constantly a first round exit in the playoffs, right? Something's not happening, or you're barely missing it. We needed to
You
blow it
guys
up
were
and
half a game
jump.
away from the 1 seed, though.
I no, but I'm talking about like overall, we're always on the cusp, right? Except I think last year. But
Last
overall,
year,
Dak
you were
tenure.
fighting for the one. You literally like blew the 1 seed.
Yeah, well, we do that.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
But it's also like, so we were the last 3 years we've been 12-5,
Yep,
right?
great by any metric. That is great.
Yes. However, 2021 lost the wild card game.
Yep.
2022 we were not a top 4 seed. That was when the Eagles. So we
Yeah,
were
they
actually
went
the
like
fifth.
14-2 or
I think
something
we were
like
the
that.
fifth seed there. We
Mhm.
lost the divisional round. Right? 2023, we're the second seed, barely losing the wild card. So it's like, even though we have this great record in the playoffs, in the postseason, when it really matters, we're not winning the games that need to be won. Right? We haven't made it past the divisional since we won the Super Bowl in '95. We haven't made it to the conference finals.
Yeah,
I don't count that as a deep playoff run.
you don't count making it past the wild card round, but not after that.
Yeah, we haven't made it to the conference finals. We've lost every divisional. So, yes, he has a great record. He's a good quarterback. I just don't think the rest of his career should be in Dallas.
Wow. So you're saying like you would take. Granted, maybe this is why you guys low key acquired Trey Lance, but you're saying like if the season after you lose Dak, you go 4-12. You're cool with that?
I'm okay with that. As long as Lamb and Parsons are re signed and are committed.
But then if you're gonna go 4-12, why do you have Lamb and Parsons on these big deals if you're not even close to competitive?
Well, so if all we're missing is a quarterback, we can try to fix that. If we're missing all of these other issues, then maybe we do trade Lamb and trade Parsons. But I think you have to re-sign them in the beginning. You hope that we can draft. I don't know if he's going to be in it, but Archie Manning, right? Go 4-12. Maybe try to grab Archie Manning and see what he can do.
Archie Manning. Well, actually, it's a debate. Archie Manning might get his first full season as a starting quarterback with Texas
Yeah.
this year. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But
But you know what I mean? Like, if you have all of these pieces around this rookie, it could work out. And
Mhm.
it has worked out before. Right? Look at Stroud. Stroud, they made the playoffs, right?
Yeah, CJ Stroud. That
Yeah.
that team was awful. They
Well,
did not.
okay,
They
fair point.
contrary
Fair
to your
point.
belief, they did not have anything before Stroud.
Fair point. Who is a good example of a rookie coming in and getting to the playoffs right away?
Patriots with Tom Brady, the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger. Um,
A more recent one.
oh God, the Packers with Jordan Love.
Not a rookie though. First year
Eh,
starter, but not like a rookie, you know what I mean?
doesn't happen very often. Brock Purdy and the 49ers.
I could take Purdy, I guess.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
Yeah, Lamar. Baker Mayfield did it.
Yeah, Baker took him to the playoffs his first year, and then he's gone a few years later. Um, yeah, I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes had a
So I
year.
would say the right, because then
Yeah,
it goes to Russell Wilson.
yeah, Russ is a good example.
So I mean, it doesn't happen often, but we have the defense, we have the offensive weapons. I think we need to shift up the quarterback room. We
Hmm.
also need to get a good tight end and stick with them.
You don't think Ferguson's the answer?
I don't think so. I think he's a dull
Really?
result. I think he's good, but like keep in mind I grew up on the Jason Witten days.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need someone like that. We need a sure-handed target because look at the teams that are going to the Super Bowls or to the playoffs. The Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, right? Tight
That
end, I
was
think, is a
last
lot
year.
more of an important role than
Well, I don't know about that one. So
it's more important than people think.
maybe. So what do you think about the year before when the Bengals and Rams made it and their tight ends were who did the Bengals let go that I really liked other than CJ Uzmana? Who am I thinking of that I can't think of?
I know who you're thinking about too.
But the Rams had Tyler Higbee. So, and I wouldn't call either of the tight ends in that Super Bowl exactly impactful.
But they had, I mean, the Bengals got lucky. No, but the Bengals
Excuse
had
me?
Jamar
The
Chase.
Bengals got lucky?
The Bengals had Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins going crazy, right?
Yes, and Joe Mixon. Yes.
And Joe Mixon. The Rams
Yes.
had Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald going crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then was
True
that
that.
on the Rams?
Yeah, the Rams won that Super Bowl. That was LA Rams.
Well, no, I know they won. I was trying to figure out who they had. Like, who else was
Tyler
Jalen
Hig.
Ramsey
Oh,
on
on
that Rams team?
offense?
No, was Jalen Ramsey on that Rams team?
Yes, Jalen Ramsey was on that Rams team, but so was Odell. He was gashing us until he went down.
Yeah. So
I
it's
think that
like,
was.
is the tight end the most important role? No. Is it more important than I think they're giving credit for? Yes.
So was it Rick Eisen? Someone had this statement that in the modern NFL, you need. I think he said it was five things. You need to have the quarterback down. You need a starting left tackle. You need an elite pass rusher. You need a shutdown corner. And what was the fifth? Oh, a number one weapon. It could be a wide receiver. It could be a tight end. So, yes, is tight end important if you have like a Kelsey, like a Kittle? Yes. But you could supplement that with like a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Or CD Lamb.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm like a tight end fanatic. I like tight ends more than receivers
Mhm.
at times.
This guy.
That's why all of my teams usually have like 6 tight ends.
So, do you think if Dak was in a different organization, he would be more appreciated? Like if he was the starting quarterback of The Tampa Bay Bucks. Well, Tom Brady recently, that wouldn't really happen. But
Yeah.
if he
And
was a
then
starting if he was a starting quarterback for a team with less hope, like the Bengals before they drafted Burrow, or the Browns, or the Texans before Stroud, do you think he would be more appreciated in those organizations because they don't have a history of success?
I think so. Just because, like I said, every Cowboys fan, like, we're all tired of the Super Bowl drought, right?
True.
We were tied for the most Super Bowls ever, and
30
the
years
other
ago.
two that were with us, the Steelers and the Patriots, have gotten have gotten some in recent years, right? We're kind of the last ones that need to get over that hump. So I think anytime a quarterback comes in, we expect Super Bowl. That's just kind of the culture that's built into the Cowboys fans, in my
But
opinion.
is that a fair expectation? This is why Dallas Cowboy fans are as hated as I am.
I don't think it is fair, but it is kind of the culture, right?
It is whether it's fair or it's not fair, it is the
It's
expectation,
the,
and
it's
you
the
have to.
tradition. It's the Prego traditional sauce, right?
There you go.
Giving Ren some
So
credit here.
I'm gonna give Ren some credit. No, we don't give Ren credit here. This is not give Ren credit show. This is not the give Ren credit show. But regardless, I do think that history matters, whether it's recent history or long time history. Your expectations are different based on what came before you. Like, I'm going to talk about the New England Patriots and Drake
Yeah.
May that they just drafted. I think Drake May and Gerard Mayo have absolutely no hope. Not because they're a bad coach or a bad quarterback per se. We don't know. The jury's still out on that. But there is no way in hell that they meet or exceed what came before them in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
No,
And I think
I,
that's a
I don't.
recipe for disaster.
I
Go on.
mm, I think I honestly think Drake May is going to get more credit than Gerard Mayo, and the reason being is Mac Jones came in and failed. Right? Mac Jones came in. He was supposed to be the Tom Brady replacement, and it failed. Right? Ultimately, it failed. He's not even
Correct.
on the team anymore.
Nope. He is a
I think
Jaguar.
that's going to
He's
give
backing up
Drake
Trevor Lawrence.
May. I think that's going to humble some of the Patriots fans to try to limit their expectations
And appreciate what they have.
and appreciate what they have. Because even if he's not as good as Brady, he may not be a Mac Jones,
May not be Mac Jones.
right?
So what do
Gerard
you think of
Mayo
New England?
has a harder time because he has to follow up Bill Belichick.
So it kind of goes back to the Brady Belichick debate then. If you really think the expectation is, oh, but you're saying that Mac Jones had to take on that responsibility of being the guy after Brady. So Drake May doesn't have that responsibility. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I do think that, especially since this was what, one, two, three. Oh my God, 2017 was 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm getting old.
It's
But it was
funny
as
that
recent as
it-
7 years ago. I think they will still expect that level of production from Drake May. And even if Drake May is good, if he's not good enough, I still think he's going to get
he
backlash.
he
But
may get backlash, but it's not going to be to the effect of Mac Jones got. Right? I've always thought if let's say, let's say you're on a basketball team or a football team and you're in high school and you have this coach who was a terrible person, right? Would call you trash, call you shit every single day. Not in
Coach
like a
Austin,
good coach way, but like literally just like aggressive,
if you have Coach Austin,
right? And then so he's way too hard of a coach, right?
yep.
The next coach coming in my opinion, knows they can't be really tough because they just got absolutely destroyed the year before. So that coach is going to try to overcorrect and try to be very nice with them. And then that coach isn't going to work out because now the players are going to be pushed more than what the old coach is doing. Then the old coach, they want to be pushed more than what the current coach is doing. So that coach is going to leave, and a third coach is going to come in. They're going to be able to be the Goldilocks coach. I think this could happen for Drake May. Brady was really good. Mac Jones was really bad. I think Patriot fans are going to be okay with a pretty decent Drake May. Right? I don't think
Granted,
he's
you
going
don't
to get
know.
the
Drake May
lashback.
could come in and melt faces in the NFL and look like C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
And
we don't know.
all is forgiven, but
But like I think like that idea of overcorrecting, Mac Jones got rid of the oh my god, our next quarterback's going to be the godsend that Brady was. I think now their expectations are going to be tempered a little bit and allow May to really succeed without, the 6 Super Bowls sitting over his head.
the 6 Super Bowls will always be sitting over his head. That is reality. Just like the Cowboys, the Super Bowls will always be sitting over the Cowboys'
Yeah.
head. That's why you
The
want to
3
give up Dak Prescott.
Yeah, the 1990s definitely live in our head,
100%.
right?
Which is
It's
why
every single year playoffs comes around, you see clips from that 1990s team, and they put it next to the current Cowboys, and
are
is
you
this
one of
the
those
year?
teams? Are you one of those teams that sell old jerseys more than your current jerseys?
Emmett Smith's probably.
Just move on. It happened. It's over. But
Yeah,
on
that's
the
the last
opposite
time
end
we've
of
been
that,
successful.
you had a team that did have a huge drought in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
and now I don't care what anyone says. Patrick Mahomes could come out tomorrow and retire. He is the best quarterback in Kansas City Chiefs history to Kansas City Chiefs fans. He's a
Oh,
Hall of
absolutely.
Famer. Like,
Absolutely.
in fact, here I'll go even a step further. If Patrick Mahomes retired today, there would be people. I don't know how right they would be, but there would be people steadfast saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time. If he retired tomorrow. So, on the opposite end, when you have an organization that isn't used to that success and you give it to them over and over and over again, kind of the golden child. I think Patrick Mahomes is definitely the golden child in the NFL and in
And Travis
Kansas
Kelce.
City. Granted, it's warranted because I don't think even Brady, I don't think in my lifetime I've seen someone come in and be as dominant and as good as Patrick Mahomes is. He is unfairly good. He is ridiculously good. He is so good. I get to bash on Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen puts up like ridiculous numbers every week. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes allows me to bash on a quarterback who probably is going to finish top 5 or top 10 all time if he wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because he might be top 10, top 15, top 20, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is going to be, unless something crazy happens, he's going to be debated as one of the best quarterbacks in ever.
So I think,
Period.
I mean, it's always unfair to give them these like comparisons, but I think it does hold true. Patrick Mahomes is what Tom Brady was,
No,
right?
Patrick Mahomes is
Hold on,
better than
hold
what
on.
Tom Brady
Stay
is.
with me.
Go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes is what Tom Brady was, like Josh Allen is what Manning was, right? The two of them pushed
No.
each other to do better. But I think
Uh,
in this instance, Mahomes is a little better than is better than his comparison.
So here's a scary thing that we kind of forget about with Tom Brady because we talk about all the rings. There was a like 10-year stretch where Tom Brady got like 3 or 4 rings and then he didn't get another ring for a decade. Okay? We don't talk about that. We just talk about the total amount of rings. I think it's like 6 or 7 or 8 or something. It's I'm not going
I
to
think
look at it
it's
right now.
5,
Tom
6.
Brady? Tom Brady has more than 5. Tom Brady has like 7 or 8. Let's see.
No, he does not.
Tom Brady's Super Bowl
1,
wins.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, he has 7.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 7 or 8. So here's the thing. He won like 3 in his first 4 years, and then he went a decade, and then he won another 4.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Patrick Mahomes really not competing for a Super Bowl. The Bengals beat them, and that was the blip on the radar. They've basically been to a Super Bowl every year that Mahomes has been the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why I'm saying we haven't seen what Patrick Mahomes is doing right now, because I haven't seen them fail to get to the Super Bowl. Like if they like it could happen. They could the next decade they could not make the Super Bowl. But if they keep on this track, there is no one. There is absolutely no one. Not Montana, not Brady. There is no one close. That's the concerning thing about Patrick Mahomes. Now we need to see that play out. That needs to happen. But what he is doing right now is unprecedented. And I don't think we give that enough appreciation.
I'm just trying to see.
Trying to see what?
I was just trying to see the last time how he lost those games. Because he's been in the Super Bowl 4 times and he's won 3.
Who, Brady?
No, Mahomes.
Who'd Mahomes lose to?
He lost to
Must have been
Super Bowl
20.
58. It was 31-9.
Tampa Bay! He lost to Brady! He lost to Brady! That's right, that's right, that's right.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Brady is the best. Mahomes couldn't beat Brady when it came to it.
And that's the thing. That's going to be the crux of the argument. Because
that 100% is going to be it.
Because not only does Brady have that Super Bowl, he also took Patrick Mahomes out in his rookie year in the AFC division, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, I think so.
in 2019.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, no. Patrick Mahomes is on an all-time trajectory right now. And
he's definitely on an all-time.
he's basically put Andy Reid in the GOAT coach argument just by himself.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, did Andy Reid have a Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes? I don't think he did.
With the Eagles, didn't he?
He had one with the Eagles. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
He broke his drought with the Eagles, and then it's gone on since then.
So yeah, and Andy Reid's a great coach, but
I would love to see what happens to Mahomes after Kelsey. I think there is a chance where we have, unless the Chiefs get unless Xavier Worthy goes crazy, there is an instance where the Chiefs don't make it to the Super Bowl for quite a few years if they don't have the Kelsey weapon.
Here's the thing, though. Like, we kind of talked about this with Tyreek Hill, where it's like, oh, Tyreek Hill's gone. It's not going to be the same. And then Kelsey just stepped up. So I got to see it.
But
am I saying
roster, I don't see, if Kelsey retires tomorrow, I don't see anyone stepping up on that team.
If I'm not mistaken, they used a top 5-round draft pick on a tight end named Jared Wiley, and they have Noah Gray still on their roster. Now, who knows if those two develop or are something, but I do think that when Kelsey goes away, there will be someone to step up because he's just too good. There's no way. There is no way that not one person can develop into something under him.
I don't know.
With all those targets available.
That's my hot take. That's my future hot take is
he's going to have the decade drought with Brady?
I don't think it'll be a decade. Because I think the Chiefs are going to not be afraid to spend money and bring in someone to be that main guy.
That's fair.
Because let's be real, they probably are making so much money off of Mahomes and his jersey.
That there's a salary cap in the NFL.
Are going to burn down the stadium if they don't try to do stuff. But Mahomes is he on like a 10-year contract or something like that?
His contract is much longer than 10 years, I think. Let me see.
No, it was a 10-year, $450.
Okay.
But 45 a year is not. Let me see.
Compared to what
Wow.
we're seeing with quarterbacks now, no, it is not. It is a very good contract.
They did this contract really weird, but really good.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
next 3 years, he's going to be like not this year, right? Next year,
Mm.
the year after, and the year after that, he'll be like a 65 plus cap hit, and then he drops to the 30s.
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
They
I'm looking at this.
they
Yeah.
they like loaded it. They loaded it in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them money to build a team. Then they have time to dynasty it, and then at the end they can rebuild.
I'm guessing this middle here is going to be Travis Kelce declining.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I think that's what's when Kelsey was potentially going to be gone. Make it like a baby rebuild / let's get the biggest chunk of money off the books and then run it back in 2028.
Can see it.
And that's just based on the current. That's, if the salary cap keeps going up, then obviously that's even better for them.
Yeah.
And they
In
could cut
fact,
him in
what was I?
2028.
Go ahead.
I was just saying they could cut him for $5 million in 2028 if they need to.
That's not going to
They
happen.
won't ever have to.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the league cap percentage, and it goes from it's about to be 24% of the cap next year, and when he's 33, it's going to be 9%. It's just
They did this contract really smart.
yeah. No, this is a really good smart contract that Patrick Mahomes has.
And the last 2 years were avoided. So he'll be a free agent in 2032 when he's 37.
Ain't that crazy? Oh man, football is a weird sport, man.
It is. He was a 10th overall.
Like Trevor Lawrence got 5 years, 300 million.
Yeah. You see that he's on the right side of the page?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. What has Trevor Lawrence done?
Look at do you see his
yeah.
contract when he's going to be 30? He's going to have a
$78
$78
million?
Holy.
What the?
But they can get rid of him after 2028 with
They
no
will
dead
get
cap.
rid of him after. They will get rid of him after 2028. I don't think Trevor's actually been. Trevor's playing fine. Trevor is not playing up to the potential that we were expecting from him.
No.
But he's not playing bad. So that's kind of the
No,
thing. What do
he's
you do
not.
when you have that? Because they did. They paid him based on his potential here. Holy crap. $78 million in 1 year. Holy crap. What the hell? Well, that is what I had. What about you? What say you? Is there anything that Austin wants to talk about football since he's never been on?
I've been on before. I was on for the draft episode.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Kind of. We had a lot of people on that night, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it does. That's the thing. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Where do you think the Bengals end up this year? Because we've talked a lot about the Cowboys.
In the playoffs.
But where? 2 seed? 7 seed?
Yeah, I could see the two. I could see a top 3 seed for the Bengals.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. we've invested so much fucking like capital, whether it be money or draft capital on the offensive line. I refuse to admit it can be atrocious. It can't. It can't, right? Like I don't even want to pull up how much money the Bengals have spent. But I can off the top of my head I can name 3 guys we've signed, which was
Who's that?
Orlando Brown Jr. to that ridiculous contract. The Patriots center Mathis something, and then a guard. We've traded for another tackle. We've drafted a tackle in this draft. If I'm not mistaken, we started the last draft with 2 offensive linemen. Like, what have we got to do? That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, at some point, you have to invest so much that it can't be bad, and we're kind of at that point. We've invested
Obviously
so
is.
much in the fucking offensive line. If it's bad, I don't know what to say. I will be speechless. I will be absolutely speechless if Joe Burrow is getting hit over and over again when we've like invested $100 million, well, more than 100, but like $150 million, a first round pick, and like 2 third-round picks plus an offensive line, and we still can't fucking get it right. I would be speechless. I would be dead ass speechless.
Do you
Now,
think your team is cursed on the line at that point?
right? Like that. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Seriously, what do you do? You literally took the best offensive lineman from the Kansas City Chiefs, brought him over. And by the way, people don't talk about. Well, people do talk about this, but I don't hear it enough. Orlando Brown was not impressive when he went from Kansas City to Cincinnati. It was
Didn't
so
he start on the
heartbreaking
Ravens?
watching that. Huh?
Didn't he start on the Ravens too?
Yes. Yes.
2 high-powered
So,
offenses he
so
couldn't keep up. So let's just throw him on the
Orlando
field.
Brown is a smart individual because everywhere he's gone, he's like leveraged the team for money. That's actually how he went to Cincinnati because he wanted a massive contract with Kansas City. They weren't willing to give it, and they shipped him off to Cincinnati, and he got a deal. But
Yeah.
like, it has to. And the thing that could really derail us, I'm not sure about the. I am shocked, beyond shocked, that our running back contribution after we moved Joe Mixon was sign Zach Moss. That was it.
Mhm.
That was the whole thing. Sign Zach Moss. We still have Chase Brown. We didn't draft anyone
Do you still have P. Ryan?
really in the draft. Huh?
No, P. Ryan's on the Giants now, I think.
Denver Broncos.
Broncos.
Samaj P. Ryan, yeah. Broncos. But I'm actually concerned with that because T. Higgins is requesting a trade currently, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yep.
We franchise tagged him. We're not willing. That is the thing that could derail. We drafted a wide receiver to replace him in Burton, but quite honestly, I think we low key did a shit job of that because Burton was one of the most raw prospects in the class, and then we drafted him in the second round. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm really conflicted. I think this team definitely has the potential to be a top 3 team in the NFL. The thing we have done right with the draft capital is the secondary. We have continually drafted secondary. In fact, I'm pretty sure we had a stretch of 2 or 3 years where we drafted nothing but DBs in the first round.
Mhm.
And that's turned out good with Cameron Taylor-Britt. We have Jackson Hill that we're moving to CB.
You had
Von Bell's back. We had Jesse Bates and he left, yes.
Jesse
Go on,
Bates,
sorry.
yeah. But you
Yeah.
drafted him. Like you had the eye for him.
Yes, 100%. So our secondary looks good.
How's your linebacker core?
That's the worst part of it. But then again, Logan Wilson isn't a terrible linebacker. It's just outside of Logan Wilson, it's kind of sus. I'm not gonna lie. Our defensive line has always been good with Chuba Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. We let our D tackle Hill go in free agency, and we drafted 2 interior D linemen that I'm hoping will work out. But regardless, the team should be fine. I don't think, unless Joe Burrow goes down again, that the team will lose the AFC North. And that's a big statement to make because the Steelers always seem to win 9 games. The Ravens looked amazing last year, and the Browns defense looked amazing. And if they can figure out the offense, they're also a juggernaut team. I still have faith the Bengals are the best team in the AFC North because Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North. Just period. I'm sorry if you're a Lamar fan. I don't think that's a hot take. I think after Patrick Mahomes, I think the debate between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, me personally, I'm going with Joe Burrow. That you can call that homerism, and I don't care. We have the second best quarterback in the NFL. We better fucking make the playoffs if he's healthy.
But that's the if though, Angelo. It's if he's healthy.
Yes, and
If
he's
he's
gone
not
down the
getting
last few
walloped
games.
50 times, it feels like in 2 weeks.
It can't. The offensive line can't play that bad. I refuse. I refuse to admit we can invest all that in it and it can still look that bad. I cannot tell you how sad I look at some of these plays. Like, have you ever played Madden and like you'll get a ghost block where the offensive lineman won't block and the D line just comes through?
Yes.
That happens to us in real life. I am so fucking disappointed in shit like that.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be interesting. I do
No,
like your tight end pick though.
yeah, we drafted like 3, dude.
I like Eric All.
I like Eric All too. I like Eric All.
Iowa has a good pedigree for tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So,
If I'm not mistaken, he was injured during the scouting process, and I think he's still questionable. So I'm not sure if he's going to actually start.
I don't
But
think he's gonna
not
start the
start.
season. I think he's
Giusepp's going to start, but
yeah.
I don't know. But here's the thing: you still need to get reps in, and if he's hurt, he's not getting reps in. And tight end takes a while to learn. It's not an easy position to play. But I do love what we do. We've been drafting very, very well. We have shown an ability to actually fucking spend money with whether it was re-signing Joe Burrow or paying Orlando Brown Jr. or investing in the offensive line the offseason before.
Yeah.
We're doing the right things. I like Zach Taylor. I like the way the team's run so far, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's just Burrow and making sure he's healthy.
All's coming off of an ACL tear.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. That's a year-long thing. I
He
would have to
also
research.
he also had a herniated disc the year before.
Yeah. So, not good. But no, I'm very optimistic about the Bengals. I think.
Yeah. I would say
think-
I'm optimistic about the Cowboys, but that would be like every other year.
But here's the thing, though. Like, how do you? I'm going to put this in perspective of fantasy. CD Lamb was like a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy before
Wasn't
this
he, like,
last season started.
Okay. Go ahead.
CD Lamb is now a wide receiver like 2 or 3. And
Yeah.
he's like close with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. An
So-
argument to be had about all 3 of those being one.
Right. Completely valid. Same with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill came off a monster year. The thing against him is it's dynasty and he's 30 years old. But regardless, how are you not optimistic that you have a premier and you know it. You have a premier wide receiver in the NFL on your team. You click that box. It's there. How does that not make you at least optimistic about the offense?
First off, apparently we also have Racy McMath. Did not
Hey,
know
my
that.
boy.
Because I've been a Cowboys fan, Angelo. I've seen this before. Right? We've had this really good team. We go far, and then someone fucks up. Whether it's the offense, whether it's the defense, whether it's both. We have we play down to our opponents. All the time. We do. Watch any NFC East game against the Cowboys. We'll be 14-0 against the 0-14 Giants, and we will lose. We always play down. And that being, what is that, 6 games? Is that right? Yeah. That's 6 games of our season that I don't feel confident about ever winning. So if we end up being 10-6, that's not the best, in my opinion, because we go stupid in other places.
That's fair. Oh,
I've learned to temper my expectations when it comes to this team.
it's a really good team, dude.
It is a really good team. On paper, it's an amazing team. It's just when
I
they touch the field, they just can't pull it together.
I think you guys draft really well. I think that's not
Mhm.
even that shouldn't even be close to a hot take considering you the
No.
guys who drafted like CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons and Dak Prescott to begin with. But
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys' problem is they have this like Cowboys first mentality, and it's similar. It's very similar to the Packers in a way, and the old Bengals in a way, where they don't want to reach out to free agency to get additional players. They just want to draft their players and then develop their players. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's like a 3D chess thing with that where they don't want players. I was gonna say they don't want players giving away their schemes so they'll pay them, but then I realized, well, why wouldn't you want to take players from other teams and then have
Use them
kind
with
of
the same.
insight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
I
you
don't know.
can
Do
say
you
it
have?
doesn't happen, but it happens.
Oh no, 100% happens. But I don't know. I just think you need to get out of that mindset, and you just need to worry about making good moves, making good free agency moves, and keeping the draft strategy in order.
Yeah. I mean, in recent history, the only ones I can remember us signing are the ones that have off-field issues.
Yeah, like Pac-Man Jones,
Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory. Yeah. Did you draft Gregory though?
Did we? We did. Why did I not realize that? Who am I thinking of?
Well,
We signed someone that had an issue. I don't know. It feels like
it's like,
every
wait,
year
we
we have
drafted that
someone.
malfunction?
It seems like every year we have someone arrested for domestic abuse on this team. I can't keep track anymore.
It's unfortunate.
But
Hmm. That feels like it to you, to me. Does it feel like it to you?
like what?
The show.
Yep. I think so.
All right, Alex, do the outro. Wait. Fuck!
Yep. All on you, buddy.
Damn it! I can't use my go-to phrase of Alex, do the outro. Now this is where Ren would usually say, just do the things like
You know what you should do,
try-
Angelo?
just take a thing of Ren doing the outro and just insert it in there.
Yep. Soundboard it, dude.
Soundboard Ren's outro. But no, seriously, if you like what you enjoy, if you like what you enjoy, gross. If you like what you hear here, give feedback, subscribe, participate.
Here, here.
That's really the whole gist of Ren's thing. And say you hate me, say Angelo sucks. That's I've heard it before, so
Yep.
it's
Austin's
not.
the best. We all know.
Yeah, we hear that a lot too, except on the episodes that you don't show up, which is a lot of them. So
Then we want Austin. So.
we want Austin back. We want Austin. People outside. We want Austin. But nah. Thank you guys. You guys know what to do. You have a great one.
It's
Austin,
been
say
fun.
bye.
I did. It's been fun.
Okay. Oh, it was fun? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. See ya.